So the translation, once again, therefore, any person who seriously desires real happiness must seek a bona fide spiritual master. So this must word is present, means that if one really wants Shreya Uttamam, one has to definitely seek a spiritual master. And we discussed yesterday that this is not something that will come out of our own sense of trying to understand the world around us. It happens as much by the mercy of the service to the spiritual master. So a spiritual master is required and service to him is also required. And the qualification of the bona fide guru is that he has Shabde Parecha Nishnatam, that he has realized the conclusion of scriptures by deliberation and is able to convince others. It doesn't seem to be apparent in the translation of this verse that the qualification of the guru is that he should be able to convince others. This will come through, and then we will delve on this topic in the following days, but not today. Such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all material considerations, should be understood to be bona fide spiritual masters. We spend time on Tasmat. We also spend time on Shabde Parecha Nishnatam, being fixed in the absolute truth, coming completely knowing about him. Brahmani Upashamashrayam, this fixed, the nature of being fixed there, and Nishnatam, being perfectly knowledgeable. Both of these aspects here. I'd like to now delve for today and even tomorrow possibly on the words prapadyeta, having one should take shelter of. What is the meaning of taking the shelter? Taking the shelter is akin to saying, when it rains, take shelter of a safe place where you can be protected. So the taking shelter means that I am being troubled by something and therefore I need the help of somebody else. So when we come to the stage of saying I need the help of somebody, we really feel from the bottom of our heart that this person has something to offer, and or this object has something to offer. Like when we take shelter of a safe place, we believe that the structure is safe so that it can give us shelter. Likewise, when we take shelter of a person, it means that that person really has something that we can receive from. But then there is also there are verses which talk about the qualifications of the disciple. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 10, text number 6, it is said that the servant or disciple of the spiritual master should be having these 9 qualities, and he shouldn't have some additional qualities. We will go through some of these in this week and the week to follow. So one of the qualities here is active and never lazy. A person who has taken shelter of the spiritual master has gratitude towards the spiritual master. Gratitude means deep within his heart, he feels, I was in a position of want. I was in a position where I didn't even know that I have a want, but what should be the solution? And is this the real thing that I should be going behind or something else? My spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. Sometimes you might have heard us saying this verse, Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Ajnana Timira Andasya. The Timiranda means there is a well which is very dark. Anda. It is very dark. There is no light in that. And in such a well, I was fallen. This material world is compared to that dark place where we really cannot recognize what is the situation we are in. We are all busy conducting our activities, totally ignorant of what is the need for the soul. It is this darkness that is being referred to in the verse, Om Ajnana Timirandasya. This Ajnana being not conversant at all with what is that which is the real welfare for all of us. And we all think we are super intelligent. This is what I need. If I crack engineering and then I go to IIT And after finishing IIT, I will have a job. And with this job, I'll get so much money. Then I'll have a wife. Then I'll have children and I'll be happy. We think we have cracked what it means to be happy. But life often throws upon us circumstances which just is an indication from the Supreme Lord. Don't think that you know everything in life. And therefore, one should approach the spiritual master. And when one approaches a spiritual master, this prapadyeta, when is completely taking shelter of him, how does one take shelter? These are some qualities: being freed from false prestige, never considering himself to be the doer. One should be active and never lazy. So yesterday, we heard about Ayodhya Dhauma, about three of his disciples were there: Veda, Upamanyu, and Aruni. We heard more about Aruni. So today, I'll go about to explain this at being active and never lazy, the life history of one of his disciples, of one of the disciples of Veda by name Uttanaka. May I ask everybody here, can you please raise the hands if anybody has heard about the pastime of Uttanaka? Indira Murali Mataji knows. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Please pardon me. I'll just take a little time, 4-5 minutes time to go through this pastime, because it tells us several things. This pastime is spoken about right in the beginning of the Mahabharata, and there's a reason why it is spoken, because to understand the rest of the Mahabharata, one should deeply appreciate this quality, the qualities which Uttanaka exhibited. Uttanaka was a very dear disciple of the sage Veda, who was a disciple of Ayodhya Dhaumi. Now, it so happened that after learning whatever he had to learn from the sage Veda, Uttanaka asked his spiritual master, his guru, I have learned all this from you. Now, what is the Guru Dakshina that I have to give you? And the guru, being very kind and he being a very humble person, he said, no, nothing. I like to teach. And while I was here, you all begged for alms from the neighboring places, and you brought alms here. And what else do I need? Whatever I had to live, you got by begging, and I was teaching you. I don't think I should give you anything. In fact, the knowledge and the character molding which Veda had given to his students was much more greater than a few grains of rice or wheat that they had begged from others. Because the Brahmanas used to maintain their life by begging. Why? The society recognized that these people are spending their time in pursuit of spiritual realization, and they are meant to train the next generation of people. Therefore, it is our duty to take care of them. And therefore, it is very important that a Brahmana actually lives by begging. He lives on the mercy of others, and in return, he gives them the mercy of the wealth of spiritual realization. So Dhaumya was very peaceful and contented at heart. Not Dhaumya, I'm sorry, Veda. And he said, I don't have anything. He spent 16 years teaching the students, and yet he said, no, I don't think I deserve anything. So there is no notion of fees, donation, capital for fees that our schools ask these days. It was a very different system in those days. So Uttanaka was not satisfied. He felt, I owe something to my guru. I mean, how can I just go away without giving anything to my guru? So he then approached his guru's wife. His guru's wife said, well, there is the king of this land here, and his wife has some nice earrings. I have heard that these earrings are such that anybody who wears these earrings, they will not have hunger, they'll not have thirst, etc. And I'd like to get those earrings. Can you get it for me? So, taking permission from his guru, Uttanaka went to the palace of began his journey towards the palace of the king. As he was going to the palace of his king, he saw a very big bull. And on the top of the bull, there was a man. And the bull gave out a bull dung, so to say, or a cow dung or a bull dung. And the man said, "Hey, Uttanaka, I know who you are. Eat this dung." And Uttanaka said, "What? Eat this dung? That too of a bull? Cow dung is pure, but this bull dung is not pure. I am not going to eat it." And he said, "No, you have to eat it. Your spiritual master too ate it. So you too should eat it." I said, "Is it really? Okay." So he took this cow dung, so this bull dung, he took a piece, kept it in his mouth and ate it. And then suddenly this bull and the person on top of the bull, both of them disappeared. It was quite a fascinating thing. And then he continued his journey further to the kingdom. And as when he went to the kingdom, he met the king and said, "I am Uttanaka, the disciple of Veda. I have come to beg from you the earrings of your wife." And the king said, "Well, it's up to you. You and my wife, you can go meet her. She's inside and you can meet her in the palace." So when he went inside, he couldn't find her. So he came back to the king and said, "Well, you said she's inside in the palace, but I'm not able to find her." So he said, "Are you impure?" I said, "No." He said, "If you are impure, then you'll not be able to see my wife. Only a pure person can see my wife." So Uttanaka then recollected he had eaten the bull dung and he had not washed his mouth, he had not washed his hands. It is said that if one does not wash his hands immediately after taking food, then one is in an impure state. Wash hands and mouth, etc. So he then washed his hands and mouth by doing a typical achamanya. He washed his hands first, then thought about the Supreme Lord and did Om Achyutaya Namaha, Om Anantaya Namaha, Om Govindaya Namaha, etc., etc. And then he purified himself. It is said that just by remembrance of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, one becomes purified. So after this, Uttanaka again went inside the inner portion of the palace and he saw the queen and he requested the queen for the earrings. And the queen, being a charitable person, gave it. At that time, the queen also said, "I'm giving this to you. You can take it back to the Guru Mata or the wife of your Guru. But note that there is a snake called Takshaka. This Takshaka is very much behind this earring, and therefore you should keep it very carefully." Having said that, Uttanaka said, "Thank you very much," and he moved further. He tried to go back to his guru's house. And he tried to rush. He was in a rush because his guru's wife had also said, "In 5 days' time, there is going to be a great sacrifice. I want to go to that sacrifice with these earrings." And the time was slowly approaching. He had to go back. He had to return soon. So as he was going on the way, he was seeing suddenly a naked monk. He would appear and disappear. He would appear and he would then disappear. He was quite enchanted with this. He thought, what's happening? So after some time, he became tired and he just took rest under a tree. Immediately, this Takshaka came. He saw these earrings which are folded in a deer skin. He immediately took the earrings and then vanished deep inside, like a snake will go inside a snake's, the ant hill or a hole inside. He went inside. Uttanaka woke up and he realized, oh, the snake has taken it. I think it's Takshaka. So he dug a deeper hole, went inside in search of the snake. He dug with so much energy and vigor, he dug the hole for such a long distance that he finally reached the Nagalokas. And in the Nagaloka, he saw a huge city. And how would he find which Naga or snake had actually stolen this earring? And he was in anxiety. I have to repay with gratitude, something to my Guru. And now this Takshaka has taken. How am I going to go back? How am I going to repay? That was his anxiety. And with that anxiety, he prayed to the Supreme Lord, and immediately a big horse appeared. And that horse said, "Don't be startled. I am Agni, who you have been worshipping in the fire for a long time. I know a way by which you can get the earrings back. You have always been worshipping me by inviting me for all the sacrifices and the homas that you have been doing with your guru. Now I have come to repay you something. So you please blow through my mouth, and just like how you blow for invoking the Agni during a fire sacrifice, and from my other body openings, from my ears, etc. He blow through my nostrils and through my ears and mouth, etc. A smoke will emanate, and through that you can finally get your earrings." Uttanaka did as he was told, and it so happened that a huge smoke came out, which basically choked all the snakes. And thereafter, Takshaka, who had actually stolen those earrings, came out and said, "Please take back these earrings and spare all of us. We are unable to live here." And all the snakes had told Takshaka, "Because of your one act, we all are suffering. Give back the earrings." So he gave those earrings back. And then Uttanaka took those earrings and again requested Agni, "I don't have much time. I've come down so far, but how am I going to go back up? I don't know whether I have the time for it." So Agni arranged for it in such a way, arranged circumstance in such a way that he could immediately go back to his guru's ashram. And he gave those earrings to his guru's wife. In this pastime of the Mahabharata, what's coming out here is that in order to express one's gratitude, it is not a simple thing, that it's a feeling in the heart and I just stay there with that feeling in the heart. It is like saying a mother likes the child very much, and no matter what happens to the child, the mother will say, "I love you, my dear child." But if a mother really loves a child, she will take great pains in cooking something for the child, in bathing the child, cleaning the child, doing everything for the child. All of that entails difficulties. It entails some difficulty for the body, but love is expressed in that mood of service. It is not like, I need to be in a comfortable situation, and yeah, I have this nice feeling of gratitude. That is not the way it works. Prapadyeta, taking shelter of, means I depend on him, and with great vigor and with great enthusiasm, I will try to serve that person who's giving me the shelter. When that eagerness is present, we will see that the forces of nature, that is, the energies of the Supreme Lord, will change the situation in such a way that everybody is there to help you. Just like for Uttanaka, the bull and the dung, the bull and the person on the bull who came was actually a celestial person. And there was Dharma, and the Dharma came as a bull itself, and they tried to help him. Agni came as a horse to help him. Everybody came to help him, right? So a spiritual master is the abode of all the devatas. If we please a spiritual master, all the devatas, all the internal energy of the Supreme Lord, even the external energy, everything will change to help that person. So our role as an aspiring disciple should be, how can I find the true spiritual master? How can I serve him? How can I receive the right knowledge from him or her? And then come back and make our life as an expression of that service. So today and all the following days, as you go through life, if you live by the principles that are given in the scriptures that we have been discussing, and come up with ways and means by which you can serve Srila Prabhupada and his mission, that will be a purifying force in your life, my life, in all our lives. I'll pause here. Any quick comment?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please do so.
We do celebrate Huttan Dwadashi. Is that the same Huttanaka as this?
Pardon me, which Dwadashi?
I mean, we do celebrate Tulsi Puja and Huttan Dwadashi.
Oh, that is different. That is different.
That's different. Okay, okay. Okay, Dhanyavad Prabhuji.
Thank you. Okay, I'll end here. I took a lot of time today. Sorry about it. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Krishna.